Here we are. Week 3 of Crescendo is officially passed, and tonight we look at 4 hot topics in the community as a whole. We'll look at some of the strategy we saw in week 3, talk about the worldwide API issues and how they affected events, and a deep dive into speed and brutal impacts on both robots and the field, and a discussion as to who we think will win the Championship Impact Award. All of this and more coming up on this episode of FRC Roundup.
This video on fun is brought to you by viewers like you and also in partnership with the following. Discover how Kettering University students engineer their success with Kettering's amazing co-op employment programs where students earn great pay and gain valuable experience. Those accepted into Kettering University can apply for a robotics scholarship providing up to an additional $5,000 a year in tuition assistance. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more and apply. Support Fun's content creators when you sign up for a membership on YouTube Join. You'll get access to special perks like emotes, loyalty badges, and Fun members will even get early access to our scheduled videos and more. 100% of this revenue will go back to our correspondents to help recognize their efforts. Click the join button in any YouTube video to pledge your support.
Welcome back to the show. If you have not caught this show previously, FRC Roundup is where we take important topics currently happening in FRC, highlight some discussion points about events that may have happened, strategy, or anything that correlates with FRC. If you, the fun community, think there's a topic that we should discuss on FRC Roundup, please feel free to ping me in the fun Discord, and I will be more than happy to take a look at it. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Connor McBride. Mentor for 166 Chop Shop and an MC and game announcer in the New England district. My normal co-host Nick Jr. is out tonight, so we brought in James Osterhaus to fill in as a co-host. James, introduce yourself and welcome to the Roundup community.
Hello, everyone. My name is James Osterhaus. I'm an alumni of Team 107 Robotics, a robotics student at the University of Michigan and an FTAA in the FIM district. Our guest tonight is Eric Leifermann, mentor on 3005 RoboChargers out of Texas, with 2 district wins under their belt, both with Team 2468, Team Appreciate this season. Welcome, Eric.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Eric. And also shout out to 3005 for the EI this past weekend as well.
Yeah, a lot of hard work by our kids and our other mentors, and especially our awards mentor, Gabby Dio. She works really hard with the students to make sure that we're just firing on all cylinders. So.
Right on. All right, so we're just going to dive right into our first topic. So this is kind of like a reoccurring topic this season, talking about the Crescendo meta and game strategy breakdowns, something that we've kind of seen a lot of teams just go in different directions, and we may or may not be starting to see some stuff solidify. So James, we're just going to start off with you. What do you see? What are your opinions on the meta so far?
Yeah, so I was at the Ann Arbor district event this weekend as an FTAA, so I got to be really up close and personal with a lot of the different robots and the strategy. I really liked match 7 in the upper bracket at Ann Arbor. We saw 302 do like this chaos auton that actually ended up hitting 4362 the gems, kind of disrupting their auton. Hot had this beautiful 5-note auton that worked really well. What I think that the Red Alliance did really well was their decision making about what notes to score where. So you'll actually notice there, Gems dropped they dropped a note right at the start of the match when they were amping, but they leave that note there so that right now when they amplify, they can pick that one up. And the Red Alliance actually able to get 4 notes in teleop, which I think is just ridiculously impressive between only having 2 robots scoring, while 7660, the Biting Irish, was playing great defense. 67 also right there hit 3322 really hard when they come across the field. I noticed that was intentional. Because the Blue Alliance was amplified and it really screwed up 3322's chance at getting another note in the amplification period. We also saw right out, Tyler, if you want to go back to 132, 5144 hits the red 1 driver station, and it actually knocked off Hot's driver station from their driver station, and their drive coach Jim caught it. So nice catch. That kind of saved them, which was kind of crazy to watch. You see me from the corner kind of run over to make sure they were okay. The Gems and 67 did a really good job of alternating cycle patterns. There was a moment where they kind of like right there, where they swap where their lanes between the stages and the open of the field to really stay out of each other's way, which was pretty impressive. And right here, they're actually able to get full field cycles in But 4362 realizes that it's not amplified anymore and switches right back to scoring in the amp. They did that really effectively, which is how they're going to be able to get the FIM high score on this one, even with only having 2 robots playing offense. Their speed was just really impressive. We did a behind the bumpers with 67 on Saturday, and we found out their robot goes 22 feet per second, which is absolutely insane. They have like a customized West Coast product Swerve X that is actually faster than an STS L4, which I think is just crazy. And their robot's almost full weight too, so that was pretty impressive, I thought. At 57 seconds left, that was a spot that I noticed specifically that Gems and 67 were like perfectly in sync. And 67 splits off to make sure that their source management was perfect. You see right there, so that they're able to both get out of the source quickly and effectively, which was pretty good. That was something I think they did really well, which is what helped them get this really high score, even with all the traffic, the Blue Alliance being triple offense. We didn't see a ton of passing happening at Ann Arbor, which I think passing is a really good strategy, especially for source control. 67 did it in quals where they'd pass to themselves essentially. They'd get 4 notes or so over in the speaker area. They'd go amp the 2, and then they'd score those 2 in the amplified speaker, which was really helpful for them in ranking 1. And right towards the end, at 13 seconds, we'll see here in just a second, 7660 accidentally gives 302 a free climb right there, even though they climb. But those tech foul points are really what kept the Blue Alliance in this match. They scored well, but were only able to get 85 points unpenalized. And right as we get time equals 0 here, 3322 gets 1 speaker shot, and they also get a buzzer beater here, which I thought was pretty cool. Definitely my favorite match from the week. I just really appreciated from a strategic perspective how well communicated 4362 and 67 were on this alliance, especially because they chose to be on opposite driver stations with 7660 in the middle. So kudos to their drive team for that. It was kind of fun to get to stand behind them for part of the match and experience how well their drive coaches and drivers executed their strategy and match plan. And I'm sure there's plenty of other matches across the FRC community that were like this and a really good execution this week.
Yeah, well, being able to see all those, robots just kind of sticking to their lanes, doing their thing. It was just the way that they, even for like most like that Red Alliance, just staying kind of undefended through just kind of really, allowed for pretty high scores. So, Eric, I'm gonna hand it over to you. So, what have you seen down in Texas?
I mean, I think the passing game is pretty prevalent here in Texas when it comes to elims, and so that's what we're seeing the most, even at most of the events. But something I noticed at Fort Worth this weekend, and then I went and looked at other events, is that teams aren't like actually pressing the co-op button. Like teams will get a ring in, and then their human players like stare at each other and like waiting for the other one to press it, and when it doesn't happen, they both just simultaneously press to amplification. So like we're just seeing really like suffocated co-op scores, and like co-op is obviously first order sort after your rank points, so it's like really difficult because like 3005, first thing we do is we grab a note, we put it in the amp, and we hit the the button to co-op regardless of what it is. Like that's the first thing 3005 does. So like just watching like in this match, like the 2 human players are literally like looking back and forth, just like seeing, are you going to do it? Am I going to do it? Like who's going to do it? And they're just like playing chicken. And then eventually, the Blue Alliance guy was just like, "No, I'm just gonna amplify." And then and this was match 12 or something. So on 15 Friday, so that's the first time I noticed it. But then I started, and it was just like the entire event is just human players on both alliance just playing co-op chicken, and they just don't get it. It's like this is how you rank high, and it's also how you lower your threshold to get another rank point. And like there wasn't a super ton of like high end shooting at Fort Worth, so it's like let's like if you can't score 15, but maybe your last can score 14, but then you're not gonna co-op. You're gonna play chicken with the other alliance because, and I've heard from other people in other regions where like during like the negotiations with the alliances, they're just like, we won't do it until you do it first. And it's just like I don't necessarily know if people forgot that it's first order or second order rank or whatever besides rank points, that co-oping is important besides just like the lowering to 14. Like 3005, we don't have to like, we can probably score. We have been scoring like most of our matches. People didn't co-op with us, so we're scoring 15, 18 by ourselves after auto scoring. So like we can do it by ourselves, but like we still want to rank high, so we want that rank sort. So like it's super important to us outside of lowering the thresholds. So I don't know if either of you saw this at any of your events, but like it seems to be prevalent in Texas. I know Katy was a week 1 event, and I think over half the teams it looked like had like a co-op score of 0 or like less than 0.1. It just seems ridiculous. And I understand it's a week 1 and maybe teams don't have all their stuff ready to go, but like scores aren't going up through week 3 for co-op scores in Texas at least.
Yeah, it seems pretty low because, like, at least what I've seen in New England is that everyone's at least trying to go for it. Because with me with 166 this past weekend, I'd go over to the opposing alliance during quals and be like, "Hey, we're more than happy to do the co-op. You guys want to do it?" And they're like, "Absolutely, let's." That's 3 note lowers the threshold by 3. Easiest way to get a ranking point, a lot easier at least. So
I was talking to some
yeah.
team. I don't remember who it was this week or today, and they're saying how in one match this weekend their human player was far. So when they put one in amp, they said they're like, press the co-op button, and the kid on the other team who was on their alliance was like, no, we're not co-oping, and just refused to press the button.
Yeah.
And then also like we'll be playing against alliances who maybe like don't want to co-op, and I just want to be like, let's just go over and score in there, and then like distract the ref, and then somehow press the button with our robot just so like we can do it. But
Yeah.
like outside of the
Well,
penalty, the potential penalty of getting hit while you're over there, like you can still score on the other team's amp to help. I've seen it; other teams have done it, but
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that at Ann Arbor happen a couple times where a Red Alliance robot would score and the Blue Alliance amp just
Yeah.
so that they would do the co-opetition. I know 3322 Skyline Robotics did that quite a lot, which was cool to see. I like that side of co-opetition personally rather than a chicken where people don't want to press it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I didn't see we saw a little bit of passing of like the shuttling technique used at Pine Tree. It happened in some qual matches, and I know Mechanical Advantage and Wyndham Windup at North Shore were doing it pretty much throughout the entire playoffs. I know for what I've been saying in this season is I'm not entirely too sure if this could be triple offense or a 2 offense, 1 defense. Based on the match that's on the screen right now, I fully believe that this game is going to be a 2 offense, 1 defense. Just to kind of set the stage here, you have 8410 Oyster River Overdrive, 1729 Inconceivable, 9055 Knights of Katahdin on the Blue Alliance for Alliance 7, 9096 Bad Weather, 58 Riot Crew, 133 Burt on Alliance 2 on Red. So 8410 is the Blue Alliance 7 seed captain. They picked 1729 as their first partner. And 1729 played defense. So in auto, they score 1 note. They just kind of stay there. And then they pick up a note immediately in telly, score it in the amp, and then just lay the hammer down on 133 the entire match, putting on an absolute masterclass. Their driver is just absolutely insane. Also a Dean's List recipient this past weekend as well. But you can watch 1729. They primarily stick around near that Red Alliance source, just kind of blocking off that main access point. And they only like move out of the blue area once during the match. And it's for about 2 seconds. They chase down after a team and then come back. But you're just going to see them sit there. And every once in a while, like 133 and 58 as the 2 primary scorers of that Red Alliance, sometimes their cycles get a little bit offset from each other and they end up coming back and leaving at the same time. Every once in a while, you see a human player throw a note down waiting for the robot to come back. Their driver has the guts of steel to go in and just grab a note, pop it right up into their speaker, and then go right back to defense. You see them holding down 133 right onto their driver station, and they're keeping the score very respectable. So Red Alliance gets held to less than 70 points in this match. The Blue Alliance 7 ends up winning the match by 1 point, forcing the number 2 seed down into the lower bracket. And this was the lowest score that that Red Alliance had throughout the entire playoffs. It ended up being 1 and 2 in the finals, but like the number 2 seed was consistently getting up to like 100 points in all their other matches. So if you have a robot that can just be an absolute brick wall and just find that one robot that can maybe be susceptible to defense, just hammer them home and just really hold them down. 133 was also the only trap robot at Pine Tree. So they knew that, hey, in that last 20 seconds, they're coming back for one more note, and that one's going to go in the trap. So we need to hold them down for as long as we can. And you see it right there in that match. They still pinning them right up against the wall as T equals 0, and they miss a climb, they miss a trap. That's a lot of end game points right there, and that secured a win for them.
Yeah, I think defense is definitely like viable, especially you see teams in other events throwing on the big blockers with the smiley faces and just blocking the April tags and shutting teams down that way. Um, I like as a team who plays the passing game and the cleanup role really well. I really want to be able to like, and we've had our third play defense in both events, but I'd really like to get into a deeper event where like state champs, world champs, where can have one feeding, us cleaning up, and then that third robot cycling. And I think we can throw up a lot of points. I mean, we're throwing up pretty good point values, just doing the lobbing game, but I think there's a potential to where like you can still have your third doing cycles and also like situational defense type stuff, not
Yeah, for
necessarily
sure.
just lockdown defense the entire time.
Yeah. All right.
I've seen it at a
Before
couple
we,
events.
yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I've seen a couple events where that third pick at events that are deep enough play that really long cycle where they go all the way around the stage and then are able to hit if they're the red alliance, hit the blue alliance in the process. I think that's definitely as we get to like champs level going to be something to keep an eye on.
Yeah,
Because, I mean,
absolutely.
Fort Worth was scheduled for 34 teams. 3 teams dropped out Thursday night, so we ended up with 31 teams. So like, there's just like the 24th pick, like it's just you're getting what you get. So
Yeah. All right. So before we go into our next topic, we're going to go ahead and bring on Tyler, introduce our first giveaway for the night.
Our first giveaway for this evening is from our friends at Andy Mark. They're giving away a hooded sweatshirt with AM logo, and all you got to type in chat is, who is Andy Baker? Type that in chat. That's your opportunity to win. Don't forget, our YouTube subscribers get 3 times luck. So click that subscribe button. It's absolutely free to do. Stay up to date on all fun content that we have coming up here, and we'll draw for that after our next topic. Once again, who is Andy Baker? Question mark for a Andy Mark hooded sweatshirt.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Andy Mark, for that awesome giveaway. All right, we're going to move into topic 2. We're going to be talking about the first API issues. So if you are not watching any events or at an event, basically living under a rock, you will notice that a lot of stuff was not being updated onto Blue Alliance, StatBotics pulls from Blue Alliance. Or if you're on part of any of the MCGA crews, you might have had some difficulties using GA tool. I am fortunate enough where at my event at Pine Tree, we didn't run into these issues. But I know plenty of events around the area. I know the Rhode Island district event had some issues. They had to re-roll the match schedule, and the API by that time had crashed, and stuff wasn't updating on Blue Alliance. So you're seeing scores that were popping up on matches that didn't exist, and this and that. And oh boy, it was absolute chaos. Eric, any issues down in Texas with you guys with the API?
yeah, I mean at 3005 we pull from the TBA API for match schedule for our scouting apps, and we also use StatBotics for some scout for our like drive coaches strategy app that we have that shows a bunch of stuff. And we had issues in Waco in week 1, but that was kind of just more the events and some server issues. So we didn't have it there either. So we were still scouting with our tablet, but we weren't getting like immediate updates and everything that we needed to do. So it was a lot more manual process than what we're used to. And then it also sucked just from a casual observer standpoint, where like I've got friends or whatever, or robots that I'm really interested in seeing how they're doing, competing all over the country, all over the world, and like not knowing when they're playing or being able to actually like see if they won or what's going on. So that sucked from just a casual observer.
Definitely agreed from the viewership perspective. And at Ann Arbor, we had an issue where we couldn't even publish our match schedule on Saturday, which I know a lot of viewers were frustrated with because it said qual match 1. It wouldn't even list the teams, which was pretty chaotic. The issue ended up getting resolved temporarily in between Saturday and Sunday, but we still had issues publishing scores and stuff like that. But once we did put the match schedule up on like the First Michigan website, but still not enjoyable compared to what we're used to. We're pretty spoiled when it all works properly.
Yeah, I know we have someone that's splitting matches in real time in New England this year, so not being able to have all those matches being able to get put up right onto Blue Alliance immediately was definitely a hindrance. Especially we had our strategy meeting in our hotel conference room Saturday night, and we're having to go back to, fortunately, New England First archives the Twitch VODs, so we were able to go back and be able to look at some stuff. And if we missed any data from teams, we can just go back and just rescout the match from the VOD. So we're fortunate in that end. But being able to look around and see like, hey, like what's the outside world doing at other events, that was hard. So like I was like, oh, like who won the battle like, between the Poofs and Citrus? Like I didn't find that out until late last night, based off of 254 and Citrus like social media posts. So, and then also finding out that it went in well into overtime, like that's wild.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I sincerely hope we get to watch those matches because it sounds pretty epic, but I have no clue what happened other than Poofs winning. So
I know all the qual and regular double limb matches are up on Blue Alliance now. So if you haven't taken a look, take a look at those. But the finals are not up yet, and someone let me know when they are, because I will happily stop whatever I'm doing and go and watch those.
No, I watched them live. And it took forever, all the delays that they had out there for the Blue Amp or whatever. But I mean, they were great matches. So like, yeah, definitely people need to go and watch.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. So we're gonna bring Tyler back on. He's gonna draw for that Andy Mark giveaway, and here we're gonna hear a little bit more about our sponsor, Kettering.
Yeah, let's see who's going to get the extra small Andy Mark shirt. No, I'm just kidding. If you do win, please make sure you go to firstupdatesnow.com/winner. In order to claim, please let us know your size as well, too, so we can get that out to you. The winner is going to be Aquatic SCP. Congratulations, Aquatic SCP. Make sure you, once again, go to firstupdatesnow.com/winner. We just posted the link in chat, and go fill out your information so we can get that out to you. Thanks again to Andy Mark, and we do have another giveaway coming up after our next topic as well, too, so make sure you stick around. But before that, let's once again thank our incredible sponsors at Kettering University for their continued support of fun. Kettering University, their scholarships are closing soon, so if you have applied or are thinking about applying to Kettering University, make sure you go to kettering.edu/first and apply for that first scholarship. Good up to $5,000 per year at Kettering University, on top of all the other awesome scholarships you might be eligible for. Kettering University, an incredible place where you are placed into a co-op. Every single person who goes to Kettering University will be in a co-op to keep earning money to get that experience as well too that you need. So go to kettering.edu/first to learn more and see if Kettering University is a great fit for you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Tyler. All right, so we're going to move into topic 3. So James, why don't you take it away?
So our third topic of the night, we're going to be talking about the speed of FRC. Do we need speed limits? And what does that look like? We had a lot of different events happen this weekend where we saw high collisions, extensive damage to robots, extensive damage to the fields, even injuries to people. So we'll just talk a little bit more about high-speed robots. I know there was a situation in Texas where a field wall in Auton was broken, which was pretty intense. You don't see that very often. At my event in Ann Arbor, 2960 Automation Nation had their entire frame bent in. We're frantically trying to fix it before one of their playoff matches. I was standing by them and the engineers on the field, and Duel of the Fates was playing in the background. It was just a really dramatic environment while they were trying to fix their robot in the frame, get their bumpers on. And I know that was seen all throughout the first world this week. What do you guys think? Eric, have you seen any of these high-speed collisions, and what do you think we should do about them, if anything?
Yeah, I mean, well, first kind of semi-addressed it this year by like four motors only for actually driving, but I mean, we throw in 2 new brushless motors, super high powered, and then vendors also throwing in new gearing ratios to take advantage of these new higher powered motors to go even faster. I know 3005 we were rocking like the extra high 4s speed ratio, and week 1 we dropped down to extra high 2, but it's still like 22 feet per second. Right, so we're just flying, and I don't. The way they changed the rule this year with the 4 is the easiest to inspect and enforce, right? Because you can pass an inspection, or you're testing your code or whatever, but that's easily changed afterwards. So I mean, ultimately, when it comes down to this, it's just going to have to go to field design and like not doing full flat field open field where you have 57 feet of acceleration. Like we did have the field break at Waco in week 1, right by where the source is, and it's just the wall just like separated. Like so, it wasn't necessarily broken. It just the wall got hit so hard that it separated where it's supposed to separate, so they could take it apart and whatever. But right, these robots are flying. I think we avoided big hits on 3005 mainly because we aren't doing as many full field cycles because we're playing right the lob game. But like it's going to happen soon where like giant hits are coming. I mean, I remember in 2013 on Wave we had replaced our drive frame every event because it was 14, because it was just high speed impacts. So I mean that was with sims, that wasn't with any brushless motor. So I don't really know what the path forward is besides turning it into something like a 2010 field where you got the giant bumps and you got to play in zones or something. But please don't go back to 2015. I don't want to do half a field.
I don't think anybody wants that.
Yeah, I know. I've seen some pretty awful collisions. I know at Bridgewater State back in week 2, 88 took a gnarly hit to their Undertaker mechanism and just absolutely just like they had a 2x1 box tube. I think it was just regular punch tube, 1/8 inch, and it just it tacoed in. They could not pick up a game piece for the rest of the match. I mean, they were fortunate that it was their last match, I guess. It did knock them out, but as soon as I saw pictures from that, I was like, I immediately sent it to my team and I was like, we need to make spares of this. We need to make spares of that. I'm now bringing my bamboo to competitions where if we need to print parts that we forget to print spares of. Like, fortunately, we didn't have to make any massive repairs this weekend, but like this game, it is getting absolutely absurd. Not just Crescendo, but the game of FRC in general is just so fast. I would not be so. I know. Shout out to the GDC for limiting the amount of motors for propulsion. That definitely has helped. I can't imagine to see what this game would look like with seeing actual like 12 motor swerve. That would be absolutely insane. I would not be surprised if the GDC decides to nerf something with the drive for next year, whether if it's limiting to FPS or like a certain gear ratio, like you can't go up to the like X amount or whatever. I don't entirely know how they would enforce some of the stuff. Maybe like part of the inspection, you have to bring your robot to the practice field and they have like a little radar gun. Like, all right, if you're going more than like 22 feet per second, like kill it in your code somewhere. I don't know, but yeah. Anyone else have anything else on this? This is pretty interesting stuff.
I mean, I saw this from the beginning of the game when I was like, we're going to drive as fast as possible. And it's like last year, everybody was driving as fast as possible, but there were some obstacles. You were slowing down, so you were accelerating. But I was on 3005. I was like, we need to throw some steel plates or something, or we were talking doing some just like angle iron on the corners of our 2x1 on at least the front and back. Not necessarily worried about big hits on our sides because we're never really driving that direction because our intakes are just front and back. And we ended up not doing it yet. We haven't really needed it, but I mean, teams might be thinking something like that. I know other teams were like, we're just going all steel drivetrain just to prevent damage from these big full field impacts.
Right. Tyler, you had something that you wanted to chime in on?
To me, this is a two-prong issue to deal with. On here, when we're looking at, we have how do we prevent robots from being hit potentially, and how do we prevent humans from being hit potentially? So when I look at the game in general, I don't care as much about the robots. It sucks, but robots are repairable. Humans, not so much for things. And we've seen injuries happen. We've seen driver station laptops fly off. All those sorts of things happening. And like I said, we showed a match from Canada earlier where somebody did get hurt, and it wasn't, a robot intentionally hitting anything or something like that, but it's kind of the nature of the game. So to me, to tackle that solution or tackle that problem of a human potentially getting less hurt, I think we need to remove humans a little bit from the field for things. And I think one of the easiest solutions for that is to not have laptops and literally humans right up against the driver station wall. So you have, high-speed collisions going into the driver station wall. Why are we putting people next up to it still? It seems like if we can figure out some sort of solution, probably not this year, but for future years, to remove humans a little bit without harming sight lines or something like that as well too. I really would like to focus on that. And who knows, maybe the field perimeter will change in future years. That could make a difference for it as well too. But at least from a human side, I think there's some ways we can mitigate people getting hurt. Definitely in regards to this year game with high-speed collisions.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think that there definitely needs to be some change for sure as to exactly how FIRST ends up going about that. I don't know. I know these fields have been around for many years, and they've definitely taken a lot of beating. So I'd imagine that some of these fields are definitely on their last legs. So as to what kind of improvements they decide to make to the frame perimeter design, I'd be curious. I'd be open to a lot of different things as well. Alrighty. So with that, we're going to bring Tyler back on, and he's going to introduce that giveaway.
Oh yeah, we do have a giveaway from our friends at RoboBits. It's a $100 RoboBits gift card. So type in free money in chat. That's your opportunity. If you're not familiar with RoboBits, new company that's the scene, offering some really great priced items for your team to take a look at, including some of these awesome carbon fiber rollers that you could pick up as well too. So once again, type in free money in chat. That's your keyword, and we'll draw for that. 2 words, by the way. Free money in chat. That's your keyword, and we'll be drawing for that once we start to wrap up the show. Thanks again to RoboBits for this awesome giveaway of this $100 gift card.
Fantastic. And now we are going to move into our 4th topic of the night. James, take it away.
It's one of the things I look forward to every year is figuring out who's next in the Hall of Fame, who's going to win this year's first championship impact award. My personal favorite for the award is Team 2468, Team Appreciate from Texas, but curious what you guys think about who this year's impact winner may be.
I got to be honest, I have no idea who's really winning outside of Texas right now. I know Connor, your team won this weekend, but other than that, and my former team Wave, but for the teams that I do know, I think 2468 is definitely should be the favorite. They kind of got snubbed last year in Texas and didn't get to compete for it at champs after being a finalist. So I think like if they can get through Texas State champs, earning it in a couple of weeks, I think they're clearly the favorite.
I absolutely agree with you there on 2468. Sorry. Same thing with 118 Robonauts. If they can make their way back through Texas District Champs as well, I can easily see them as a lock. I mean, I know last year was their first impact win in I think well over a decade, and they made themselves right up to the as a championship finalist impact recipient. So that's pretty insane. And with all their stuff with the Everybot, I mean, who wouldn't want them to
absolutely.
be?
I was talking to one of their mentors, 118 mentors last year, and they were saying that they're very excited, and if they win it, they'll be really excited, but they kind of don't want to win because they have a bunch more things that they want to theme their presentations on, and they have it all planned out. Like they were sad that they didn't win, but also really happy that they didn't win at the same time, kind of thing. For World Champs. So yeah.
Another team that I absolutely just really want to see win this award is 2486, the Coconuts out of Flagstaff, Arizona. So I know a couple years ago, their lead mentor, Christine Sapio, was a Woody Flowers recipient at the championship. That team is absolutely incredible what they do for the state of Arizona, basically running Arizona FTC by the horns. The entire team culture is just insane. My 166, we do impact exchanges with 2486 on the regular. And talking with Christine Sapio, our students also get feedback on our Woody Flowers nomination award essays, making sure that everything is all buttoned up nice and tight. They've won 12 impact awards in their team's history. They have won the most impact awards than any other team. You can take that one to the bank. It's right there on the insights page on Blue Alliance. 2486, 12 wins. They have never been a finalist at championships, but I think this is the year that they break through and potentially get inducted into the first Hall of Fame.
I think two other teams that we should keep an eye on are both 1678 Citrus Circuits and 2338 Garrett Forward. I got the pleasure of being on Alliance of the World Championships in 2022 with Garrett Forward, and wow, their culture is just amazing. Their students are awesome. They do great things for their community. Likewise for Citrus, their kids really own it, and they make a really positive impact on the FRC community as a whole. So I'd love to see both of them make a run at it this year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Before we go ahead and wrap up the show, we're going to bring Tyler back on to draw for that giveaway from RoboBits.
Yeah, once again, it's for the $100 gift card from our friends at robobits.com. So go ahead, check them out. And if you do win, of course, go to firstupdatesnow.com/winner in order to claim. You'll get an email for that gift card from RoboBits to spend on a whole bunch of cool stuff that RoboBits has offered. Make sure you go check them out. Anyways, great set of individuals out of Canada who are really trying to make themselves in the game and offer some stuff at some very reasonable prices as well, too. So let's go ahead and roll for the winner of that, and it's going to be David Barton. Congratulations, David Barton. Make sure you go to firstupdatesnow.com/winner in order to claim. And thanks again to RoboBits and Andy Mark for the awesome giveaways this evening.
Alrighty, that's going to wrap up the show. Thank you so much for tuning into FRC Roundup. Special thanks to all those who clicked that subscribe button or stepped up to help fund by becoming a fund member or supporter by clicking the join button. Your support really helps us continue to make great content. Don't forget, you can watch more FRC Roundup archived at youtube.com/firstupdatesnow and watch live Mondays during the competition season. Thank you to Eric, our guest, for coming on. And on behalf of our producer, Tyler Olds, my co-host, James, and all fun correspondents, I'm Connor McBride, and thanks for watching. Good luck to all teams competing in Week 4. Big thanks to our moderators in chat as well. See you next time, same day, same time, where we take a look at what's going on with FIRST Robotics on FRC Roundup. Thanks, everyone.
This video on fun is brought to you by viewers like you and also in partnership with the following. Discover how Kettering University students engineered their success with Kettering's amazing co-op employment programs where students earn great pay and gain valuable experience. Those accepted into Kettering University can apply for a robotics scholarship, providing up to an additional $5,000 a year in tuition assistance. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more and apply.